So now that the patriarchy exists, and then what? What does that knowledge help us with? What are we meant to do about it? Come, my dear, come, my dear, come, my dear. Let's come. We have this conversation. Pick up your tea, pick up your hobby, whatever it is that you want to do. Let us chat a little bit about how to make our point in life, our experience of life better within the patriarchy, without trying to change. It's called malicious compliance. You've heard of malicious compliance. Whenever I hear about it, it's more in terms of like a guy, a husband who doesn't know how to wash dishes properly, so he washes them but doesn't wash them well. Then whenever you want to give him the duty of washing dishes, you think twice because he does it so poorly. After he does it, you have to do it yourself. That is malicious compliance. Someone who does something in a way that will make them stop being asked to do that thing. See, we are weak. See, we are daft. See, we are whatever. So now these are the conversations about what to do about it. Yeah, I have a new hobby with Polly McLean. That is what I'll be doing as we speak. You do what you do. Now, to start off with, we've said you're weak. I remember seeing recently this video of some guy at some, he was like a clown or like a security guard at some place somewhere in the US. And then he kept, there were these families that were passing, and then the women had their babies and their bags and heaven knows what, and the guys were just walking off whistling. You know what? According to me, these are things we as women put on ourselves. Because you don't think that man can stay with that child. Do you think he's going to kill your baby if you leave them together? Huh? No, he won't. He won't. His malicious compliance wouldn't go that far. You think that he doesn't know how to hold the baby properly. And again, this is not your fault. These are things that you've been taught. And even away from babies, you're this hardworking woman. You want to do everything by yourself. You're the one who knows how things are done. You're in control. You're the one who's just creating everything because that is your lot in life. You have to be in control. Huh? Aren't we the weaker sex? Let's be weak. Those bags of groceries you're carrying, why? Why are you the one carrying them? That planning, you feel you need to be the one who's planning for that date, because if you don't plan for that date, there shall be no date. Then let there be none. It's a lot about reframing these things in our own heads, yeah? Why does it have to be him? If at all you want, if you do want to go on a date with this guy, doesn't he want to go on a date with you? Yeah? Because if he wants to go on a date with you, why isn't he putting in your effort towards planning it? Why are you the one who takes on that role? And then after that, you get tired. And I'm saying this even from, my own experience. This is stuff I know. Wrote the book, Date Like Cleopatra, The Good Girl Flips the Script. This notion of always having to be in charge, always having to be the one who has controlled everything. We know. We are there. We nothing can be done without us. And this goes into such minute details, I swear. Even I don't know, even in your day-to-day, look at your day-to-day. Just look at the day you've lived today and pick out all the instances where you said you have to be in control. And I don't take this for granted that a lot of women, we're single. A lot of us are single, or a lot of us are in situations where we need to be the ones who are making the decisions for ourselves. And that's fine. But even look at the intensity with which you do that. And look at the situations where you don't need to be the one making the decision, and yet you are. In just tiny things. Can I give you examples from myself? The real example that comes to my mind is the way I could never go anywhere with anyone without having my GPS, without being there on my maps and trying to figure out where we are going. And then I used to be in a group of many girls who are just like me. So we are 5 girls, there are 5 phones, and everyone is trying to be the one who says how to get there. Then one day I asked myself, I can give, my mind is always working. Why don't I give it a break? These fathers will certainly get us there. In some way, they'll figure out how to get there. Let me tell you, if you hang out with me today, I'll be that person who you can just kidnap. I'm not bothered. It is. I feel it is not my lot in life to be out here looking at the phone and trying to make sure that you're going. No. That is it. It has just become my attitude towards things. And take it at work as well. At work, if you're the one who's always taking these new, tough, crazy assignments, why? Because the reasoning is often that one is that you want to be busy. That was my case anyway. I wanted to be busy, and I didn't realize that it was a thing for me. Being busy was something that kept me away from thinking about the trauma that I've lived in my life. It was an addiction. That's really the word. It was an addiction. So if I could keep busy, I had this satisfaction that I'm doing what the world expects of me, and I am providing value. So I would always be the one who's going for these really, really tough new assignments and thinking to myself, wow, I'm great. And well, maybe I was great, but it's my motivation that raises the question of why was I doing this? So imagine that. What if, I know this is a big what if, especially for my, like my Kenyan girls, my African girls, my Sunny girls, my girls who have been taught that you need to do the most. If you're not doing the most, then you're not showing up. I think that's really the training that we have. And these are trainings that, according to me, we personally need to spend time relooking at. Forgive the noise, I'm trying to find another color. We personally need to ask ourselves which of these are true for us. Because these are the things that lead to burnout. And if you know anyone who's gone through burnout within your life, I mean, look at their experience. The really the people who I know who've gone through burnout, the lucky ones left at the point of burnout. They left the place where they were working, and the unlucky ones came back but were never returned to the same position. So it's the company doesn't really what's the word? It doesn't really, in fact, it doesn't encourage, and I think I am on the company side on that. You shouldn't really encourage your workforce to be working to the extent that they're getting burnt out. But then we need to look at our own life lessons and the things that we have been taught that make us think that unless you're working to the point of almost dying, you're not actually doing anything of manner. That you need to almost be killing yourself to be worthy of the pay that you get. And especially, I really like the point when I realized that this is something that I'm using to run away. That for me really truly brought it back. Because then when I allowed myself to look at what I'm running away from, then the first thing that happened is I found other ways of dealing with work that were less stressful. I opened myself to the universe for ideas, and I managed to find things that I could use within the workspace that were, I could do more with less effort, I think is the way to put it. Now I've quit my job, which is also something very different. I've quit my job, but being able to spend time addressing the issues that are disturbing you is something you really, really must do. So if you're using control, that's where we were. If you're using control as a means of avoiding that, look into it. Look into it. Have we gone very far off? We're talking about malicious compliance. The next one will make my independent girls squirm. It is let him pay. Let him pay. I there's been this debate that used to go on forever. I don't know if it's still there online about fare. About, this is in Kenya anyway, about the guy needing to pay for you to arrive at the place that you're meeting at. Because if he's not paying, how are you getting there? And there used to be two schools of thought. One school of thought was, I make my own money. Why do I need anyone to pay for me? And I was frankly part of that school of thought. And the other school of thought was, my time is worth a lot. My time is precious. And because of how precious my time is, it deserves to be paid for. Now, part of my, because I am a feminist, so part of my thinking had always been that it's wrong. It's that this notion that the men need to pay, even to pay for the dates or to pay for anything, I used to think that it was wrong because I'm striving for equality. And equality then in my mind meant that the women should also pay. It's not fair on the men to require them to pay. But now that I look at it, I realize that from that perspective, I was not really valuing myself as a woman and what I bring on the table, if I put it that way, if I use those strange words, that my presence, let's even say that we're talking about a date, yeah? So my presence with this guy at a table increases his value in the eyes of society. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just me being there seated with him makes the people who are at the dinner place, at the place where we're having dinner, regard him at a higher esteem. Why? Because first of all, it's me. And that has to do with what I think of myself. So I value myself, and I do think now. I used to be very shaky on this, but I do feel now that I am a woman who is top class, top notch. I am absolutely worthy of my salt, but more than that, I am someone of great substance. So the way I carry myself and the energy I walk into a room with will show the people in that room that I am someone of great substance. So for this guy to have gotten access to hang out with me elevates his perspective. And even if you do not have such a high esteem of yourself, and that is something to be worked on, you need to understand that even the fact that a man can garner the attention of a woman is something that is not for granted. It's something that's not available to everybody. Let me put it that way. So you're elevating his status. Look at men. I mean, men who are married are considered at the workplace to be better off. I've heard about men who got married just so that they can elevate their status at work. And some of them were even gay. So a gay guy getting married, and I'm sure I'm not telling you first. This is not the first time you're hearing this story. A gay guy getting married needed the wife to elevate his status at work. So you as a woman elevate a man's status. So that in itself means, has it stopped? Oh, okay, no. That in itself means that you are providing a certain value to him just by showing up. Then now we add on what you look, what you've won, what you've done, the amount of effort you put into place, including cash. You did your hair, you did your nails, you did whatever it is that you did ahead of going for that date. So you have already put in a financial investment ahead of the date. You know, guys, sometimes guys just show up. So with that in mind, we are going back to this question of valuing you. You valuing yourself. What else? I mean, there's so much. We as women are the ones who, through our womb, have a direct connection to the ability to create. We pull things from the unmanifested field. We can create. We can where there was nothing, we can provide life. It's truly amazing. So this is power, a superpower that women have. So I'm not saying that you're going to provide this guy children. That is not the point. But you provide him, especially if you've been dating for some time, your energy and your presence provides him access to access to this space of creation. You're sharing your energy with him is making him is calming him and making him better placed even at work, better to produce, better to it is a plus for him just to hang around you. Yeah. And you can see it in men. You can see it in men when when they're in a happy relationship. Isn't that what the Bible says? When a man who finds a good wife finds a good thing. Yeah. So whether or not you guys get married, that's not the point. The point is that you are making him feel better about himself. Remember, I remember hearing about this. I don't know if it was a study, but it was said that men feel, if women are asked how how they would feel if all men disappeared from the planet, they'd be quite fine. If men ask the same question, feel that they have no further purpose. We are really, a lot of the things they do is for us, is to, it's for, they feel that women are really like at the center of their motivation. We are their motivating factor. So I'm really emphasizing this point because for me, it took a lot for me to rethink this issue about paying, rethink this issue that we are all the same, rethink this issue of 50-50. So being in a 50-50 relationship where, he does half, I do half. We are on a date. We are paying. Everyone's paying for what they eat. Now that's not something that I would accept because I don't feel that it is fair. I don't feel that demonstrates what is actually happening. And then an example that people use to bring this forward, which is not really the one I'm taking, but I think if you're just thinking about this for the first time, you could think about it in a 50-50 household. There are a lot of the activities that the women still do. Even if you have a guy, the kind of guy who will wash dishes and cook, sometimes he'll wash dishes and cook as per his own schedule, and there's that. But even if you really divided the lines down the middle, more often than not, you're the one who needs to be thinking about the end to end. So you need to be conscious about what it is that needs to be bought. He'll be asking you questions about how to do this, that, and the other. He'll be asking you what needs to be done and that kind of thing. So you're taking up more space. You are often, if there is family who's sick, you are often the one who's more involved, even if it's his family. So things like that. So that's one dimension of thinking about it. If you're thinking of living together and you're thinking of just going, it's split. More often than not, the women end up doing much, much more, especially because the labor is not considered labor. It's not considered work. A lot of these things that women do in the household are not considered valuable. That is until, of course, you need to pay someone to do it. Then from that context, it becomes, yes, there's a monetary value. And even then, the monetary value isn't that high. So that's why you'll find yes, you'll have the house help, but the pay for household activities has been minimized. And this is, of course, by construct. It's not by mistake. As we go back to the patriarchy, this is something that was thought up. Because if women are taught from a very young age that this is what they're meant to be doing, these activities are for them. These are women's things. So we talk about it. In Kenya, we'd say that it's a traditional rule. It's a and maybe it is, but because the tradition has been patriarchal, and that is the whole damn point. Yeah. So it's a traditional rule. You must do this, or else you're not being a woman. You're not being true to our traditions and our history. So yes. Now I'm trying to do this. It's getting bubbles. So I'm trying to get rid of the bubbles and it's not getting out. Anyway. So we've talked about outsourcing control. That was the next one. Oh, let them mansplain and get something out of it. It used to drive me crazy. When you're sitting down with some guy and then he's mansplaining something to you and you're like, I know. Why are we having this conversation? Da-di-da-di-da. What I came to think about it the other time is, what if there's something that I do want? If this makes him happy, let him be happy telling me things that I know. And I remember talking to some woman who was saying that she was the author of a paper. She's a scientist, and she was the author of a paper that she was presenting at this congress in the US. She traveled to go present the results of her paper. And she just had men there telling her exactly what it is her paper is about. She was like, huh? And unfortunately, this is such a common occurrence, it's ridiculous. It is actually ridiculous. I've heard about this so many times, that precise thing of men explaining, especially things like papers. But instead of getting all worked up and going into a rage and saying, this is terrible, this is horrible, don't do this, how dare you, conserve your energy. Truly conserve your energy. If this is something that's going to make him happy, what is there something in particular you want from him? Yeah. and from that context, take it from that direction. And I know this one, I'm sure I'm not explaining anything new to you, especially if you're used to the workplace. If you're in the workplace, you know, because you have certain men who have, based on their egos, you know that you need to approach them differently. So with that in mind, you can just let them explain the thing that you know in detail, the thing that you know better off than them, and you strategize how you're going to get from the conversation the thing that you actually want. So it's not, we don't, our time is very valuable. So it's not about just letting our time go. No. Time is very precious. So we're not just going to be sitting there and letting people take our time. And again, it goes back to what I was saying when you're dating and the 50-50 kind of thing. The next one is look good. Look good. Why? Because we've heard of pretty privilege. It sounds really, really, really terrible, but it's a thing. It's a thing. Within the patriarchy, men have created a world where they say that they want girls to be pretty. And the reality is that girls who are pretty get certain advantages. Now, you, as a student of humanity, if you have this in mind, that it is possible to get a certain advantage based on the way you present yourself, why the hell wouldn't you go for it? Nikke man. Really, really, truly. I mean, I know that a lot of us want to feel it's not fair. Yes, it's not fair. That is what we're talking about. But we're saying, how do you win? How do you present yourself so that you can take advantage of this unfair situation? It has been laid out in a way that can help you. Why don't you do that thing that will enable you to get to the point that you actually want to get to? And so if it means a lot of people will feel that they are not pretty, and I truly want to say that this has a lot to do with inner work, how we see ourselves. And you'd be surprised if when you have conversations with people, like the other day I was sitting with a really beautiful man who felt that he's really not good looking, that if people have to go by his pictures only, he felt that he was a really good person in person, but he felt that if people have to go by his looks only, he wouldn't get very far. And so I looked at him and I thought, wow, it's truly universal. Because the guy, he was really, really cute. He was a really good looking guy, but he doesn't know this. And I say this to let you know that this is true of you. If there are aspects in your look that you despise, start by asking yourself, what makes you despise them? Where did you learn? Where did you hear that people shouldn't look like that? Yeah. And it's unfortunate that it's a messaging that a lot of us have. But in my book, Date Like Cleopatra, the Good Girl Flips the Script, I talk about ways and means of overcoming that. Because a lot of us have it. We all have it. I still have it. It's not something that I feel anyway, you have this magic wand that ends. It's a practice that you put in place in which you start liking yourself incrementally. And it's really work on you. You need to ask yourself, where did you get this messaging from? More likely than not, it's messaging you got when you were very, very young. So it's messaging that has bypassed your thinking brain. And that is why, regardless, I wouldn't tell that guy that he looks good, because regardless of what people tell you, it is a messaging that you have so deeply ingrained within you that the only way to address it is to work through your subconscious to get it out. Yes, it's the inner work that addresses these core beliefs that you have inside you. And it means, incidentally, that whenever you look at yourself in the mirror, whatever it is that you see is not necessarily what the other people outside there see. In fact, I heard somewhere that it is never, because we see the mirror image is the inverted. You know how it says, like when you see the ambulance is written in, is it inverted? Is written backwards, so that the car in front, when looking at the rear view mirror, will read ambulance the right way round. So that is the way the mirror works. The mirror inverts. So whatever it is you see of yourself in the mirror is never what the rest of the world sees, because it is inverted. The side you see on this side is the one that's actually on that other side. So something to think about. So I mean, I say that to say that you never your view of yourself is probably never right. But what you can do to start believing in yourself, believing in your prettiness, is small steps. And some of the small steps, what I really, really like is the mirror work. Standing in front of the mirror, nude, and finding things about yourself that you do like. Small things, tiny things. You can just really, really start at the minutest, but find something about yourself that you do like and put your attention there. Instead of always having your eyes go to whatever it is that you don't like, put your attention on the things that you do like. And today, I'm in this WhatsApp group, and there's a girl who says she was talking about herself as being chubby. And I was amused in my head, because what I told her, or what I wanted to tell her anyway, was that in my country, she'd be considered beautiful because she has a really nice ass and a small waist. That is everything. That is everything. But she felt for herself that she was chubby, and that's the thing. So a lot of us feel whatever it is, for whatever reason, there are beliefs that we have. And one of the things is that, and it's something I actually also say in the book, sometimes you just need to change your perspective. You need to change you need to get input from other people, and you would be so surprised that this thing that you thought was horrible is actually considered amazing in other places in the world. Yes. Yeah. So find your pretty. And I will say, you can fake it till you make it. Yeah, some people will move. I was scared of makeup because I didn't know how it worked. And I was scared of going to these girls who are at these parlors. Not even parlors, in the mall. You have these ladies who are set up to provide like makeup for free. And I used to fear them. Well, I also used to have sensitive skin, so that was one of my reasons for not doing it. I didn't know how clean their brushes were, so I didn't want to go there and then break out. But the more deeper truth was that I feared that I would show myself, my vulnerabilities to them. Like they would find like, gaga, this is not a face we can help. We have nothing in our range that would work for you. So you see, this whole mental load that I was carrying in myself, that made me not even want to go there. And it's actually a friend of mine. There's a day I was with a friend of mine, and she said, let's go. Because I was trying to figure out from her what makeup she uses, how she uses it. Then we happened to be in a mall, and she says, come. And she sat me down on the seat, and she said, yeah, work on her. And that gave me the confidence of realizing that, hey, okay. They didn't shout at me. They didn't scream at me. They weren't like, giga. No. They just found something that worked, and they did their magic, and they really, really, really liked the outcome. And from that, I bought what it is they had shown me. And I'll be honest with you, I've never changed. I've never changed because that one worked for me, and I clearly haven't gone back to another mall to find out. But partly it's also the idea of, if it ain't broken, don't try and fix it, yeah? Yeah. So there's clothes. I was also never really deep into fashion. So for me, figuring out what to wear and how to wear it was a bit of a difficulty. So what I did, I went online, but what has truly, truly helped me more recently is that I got a personal stylist. And that was super, super good, because then we could have a conversation. And because I was paying her, then I could actually bring out the insecurities, the things that I wanted to hide, the things that I didn't want emphasized. And then she gave me input and guidance. She was very honest. She was very honest in some of the feedback that she gave me. But then I truly appreciated it, because that means that I was getting a better understanding on my frame and my fit and the things that work for me and don't. And of course I can change. It's not, she didn't give me like, these are the things that you must wear. No, she said, she gave me like, she actually did a lot of work. We sat down together, she looked at what my existing wardrobe was, and then she just gave guidance on things I could consider buying. Some I did, some I didn't, and then we took it from there. So yeah. Yeah. So, pretty privilege. Imagine that you have been, there is this understanding that you get a foot up. Is it a foot up? Leg up? I always get that wrong. Just by presenting yourself in a way that is attractive. Yes, we shouldn't have to do this. In a fair world, everyone would just be the same and there wouldn't need to be this. But if it's something that's going to get you what you want, because this is really the point, you need to know what it is that you want, then we're using these steps to get towards that. This even works at work. If you're going for an interview, dress it up. Dress it up. Sometimes it pays off to, if you're having a negotiation, it pays off to bring out the sultry side of you. To some extent. It does. It pays off to do these things that will benefit you. And sometimes if we are too shy and we think, no, we can't do that, we shouldn't do that, it's not done. This is the advantage that the patriarchy has provided for you. So instead of always just having the downside of it, let us pick the up. What else do we have? Yeah, I think that's it. That's it. So I'm hoping that this gives you a fresh way of looking at life, yes? Instead, why complain? We can complain until the end of our days, but what does it serve? Instead, let us find little tiny ways of improving our lot. And I know you girls have been doing this forever. There's a lot of you who I'm sure have much more insight on this. Things that you have been doing that have been improving your life. Tell us. Tell those of us who are new to this school. Those of us who are now just starting to think to ourselves that we've been too busy, we've been doing too much. Show us your ways. Show us your ways so that we can also benefit and understand that when I do this, it is too much, and instead I can do this and have a better time at it. Love you, my lovelies, and thank you for joining me. Always, always, always appreciate you. In the comments, let us know what you think, and like, subscribe, tell a friend. Yay, let's do this.